Principal Matters Podcast, episode 179. Hi, friends. This is Will Parker, host of Principal Matters, the School Leaders Podcast, where each week I bring you inspiring, innovative, and imaginative ideas for your own school leadership. You can find other free posts like this one at my website at williamdparker.com. This week, I want to talk about Principal Matters 2019, a year in review, and I want to focus this post on some powerful thank yous. Last week, my family and I traveled back to Tennessee to see my parents and extended family for the holidays. And my parents have both turned 79 this past year, and life has slowed down a lot for them. One of my mother's favorite pastimes, for instance, is walking through the woods outside of their farmhouse in West Tennessee, gathering treasures like small rocks or interesting plants. And when my 14-year-old son, Jack, joined her for a stroll during Christmas break, they found their way to a leafy spot above a natural spring. And they talked for so long that the rest of the family thought that maybe they were lost and sent out a search party. Later that night, Jack told me, "Dad, sometimes I'm jealous of Grandma." "Why?" I asked. "She finds so much joy in the smallest things," he said. "Today she found a small leaf and held it up saying, 'Oh, look how beautiful and fragile.' I wish I could be more like that," he said. "Me too," I told Jack. As I think back over this past year, I want to stay thankful for the small things. For instance, I'm thankful for another year of marriage. This was the 26th year my wife and I are together, and I'm grateful we're still crazy about one another. I'm thankful for our two oldest daughters who are successfully completing college, one a junior, one a freshman on the same campus. I'm thankful for the weekly dates that I've had with my two kids who are still at home, watching sunsets with my 16-year-old daughter, Katie. She is obsessed with sunrises and sunsets. In fact, one morning I woke up early and I saw the front door of our home open. And as I headed down the stairs to see what was wrong, Katie came bustling back in the door. "You won't believe the sunrise," she said. "It was so beautiful, I had to run out in the front yard for a better look." I'm thankful for moments like that and quiet moments with my son, Jack, when he decides to talk, as sometimes 14-year-olds are quiet. One day a few weeks ago, we were driving together, and when he began to tell me about a book he's reading in English class, Night by Elie Wiesel, and how it has convinced him that all of us are capable of allowing horrible deeds if we refuse to listen to the experiences of history. It's small moments like these throughout a year that remind me of what is really important. And I'm sure that you have your own small moments that have built memories for you this past year too. So in today's post, I just want to pause and give thanks for you. Whether you know me through my posts or you know me in person, I'm thankful that you trust me with your time. You have a lot of responsibilities in your work and in your family, and I value the opportunity to share ideas and learn with you each week through these posts. In the words that follow, I just want to celebrate some of the small wins that I've seen in the Principal Matters community over 2019. And as a token of gratitude for you, at the end of this post, I want to share a free professional development resource with you, something that may help you lead your team with more focus on their mission and vision and goals for 2020. So let's jump right in. 2019 in the Principal Matters podcast world topped 345,000 unique downloads. And this excites me that each episode is averaging more than 2,000 listens. And although our audience is modest in comparison to other nationally known podcasts, I'm so encouraged to think about how each listener of this podcast is someone leading or helping to lead a school community. That means hundreds and thousands of students, perhaps even millions, are being influenced through our collective work. So what an honor it is to add something of value to the work that you're doing each week in your school community. In addition to the free content that I've produced this past year, I've also began offering mastermind and executive coaching options. So a special thanks to those school leaders around the country who have joined me each week for these special book studies, virtual meetings, and hot seat opportunities where we have been leveling up our leadership together. If you're not participating in a mastermind or executive coaching and you'd like to learn more, you can always email me at will@williamdparker.com, and I'll be glad to answer any questions or send you an application. For my Oklahoma school leaders, I'm so thankful to be serving in my third year as the executive director for the Oklahoma Association of Secondary School Principals and for the Oklahoma Middle Level Education Association. In addition to the trainings and workshops that OASSP and OMLEA members host throughout the year, we were able to put together an amazing statewide conference last February in Oklahoma City with Jeff Zuhl and Jack Burkmeyer as keynotes. In fact, we have another one coming up next month featuring National Principal of the Year Akil Ross and middle level educator Kim Campbell. In addition, our members represented Oklahoma at many national events. In March and October, we were in Washington, D.C. In the summer, we went to Boston for the national conference of NASSP. In the fall, we participated in an AMLE's conference in Nashville for middle-level learners. And Oklahoma principals and teammates are not only my colleagues, but they're also my friends. So it's such an honor to serve them in my full-time work. And what a joy it is to be a part of COSA, the umbrella organization that oversees all of the administrative associations through Oklahoma, as it's supporting administrators throughout my state and allows me to use my vacation time for consulting and professional development requests outside of Oklahoma and for the work I do through Principal Matters. And for principals across the nation, thank you for connecting with me through your emails, through your text messages, through Voxer. And thank you for those of you that have invited me to come visit your teams. Last April, I was honored to provide a full day of professional development for Brazosport ISD in Clute, Texas, where we studied the 8 hats for school leaders with assistant principal and aspiring principals who had used my book, Principal Matters, for a year-long book study. I also had an opportunity to tour schools and connect with principals there. And a huge thanks to my friend Brent Jaco for inviting me. I'm also thankful to Renton Public Schools right outside of Seattle in Washington, because last August they invited me to their summer principals retreat where I presented on my second book, Messaging Matters, and we talked about strategies for inspiring teachers and motivating students and reaching communities. What an honor to connect with such a vibrant, powerful group of leaders and to see them accelerating their messaging throughout 2019. I also want to give a quick shout out to my friend, Dr. Tim Elmore at Growing Leaders in Atlanta, Georgia. I was invited this past year to spend a couple of days with Tim and his team and his group of Growing Leaders speakers. I always value this time for Tim's mentorship and growing alongside this incredible group of leaders. And we also had a sneak peek at his new book that he co-authored with Andrew McPeak called Generation Z Unfiltered. And you can pick up a link at the website, generationzunfiltered.com. Check it out. It's an amazing book. I also want to celebrate that in 2019, so many great leaders across the nation connected with me as guests for the podcast. These included Leanne Nicholson, William Stubbs, Phyllis Fagel, Chris Leglider, John Wink, Dave Sandwich, Kim Marshall, Jen David Lang, Jethro Jones, Danny Bauer, Jesse Haynes, Garth Larson, Doug Casa, Kyle Palmer, Diana Lebsack, and Daniel O'Donnell. Their valuable lessons and takeaways not only inspired me, but they inspired thousands of others just like you to do great work. And of course, a huge thanks goes to Jen Schwanke, who served as co-host for an entire series from her book, You're the Principal, Now What? Strategies and Solutions for New School Leaders. You can check out Jen's series from Principal Matters in episodes 144 through 156. If you've missed out on any of the 40 new podcast episodes that I put out this past year, you can still check them out at my website at williamdparker.com. And I'm providing a list in the blog post that accompanies this post on my website of all the posts from this past year in one place. So you can find them there at this podcast, episode 179. But just a few highlights from this past year. We celebrated the great book by Leanne Nicholson, Cha-Chas for Making Learning Stick. We learned about leading through equity with William Stubbs. We talked about middle school matters with Phyllis Fagel. We learned about 10 areas for focusing on growth as a leader with Chris Leglider. I shared lessons in leadership from my own scars and experiences. We learned about learning and leadership with John Wink. We shared about leading into the wind, lessons from a retired principal, Dave Sandwich. We talked about managing your day with Kim Marshall and Jen David Lang. We learned about the unique challenges that rural principals face and why your stories matter. We talked about the Go community, how to harness the power of the room with Danny Bauer. We talked about answers to principals' questions. I engaged with a former student of mine who's now leading others named Jesse Haynes. We talked about things with my co-host Jen Schwanke, including tips for managing school-wide changes, parenting as principals, do's and don'ts, maintaining balance and focus, hiring and retaining quality educators, managing conflicts, and so much more. Garth Larson shared with us about the strategies that he embraces and teaches for learning for all. We learned about preventing student athletic injuries and sudden deaths with Doug Casa. And Kyle Palmer shared with us how culture drives successful learning communities. Now, one other thing about this year, that a question that's kept coming to me is, when are you doing your next book, Will? And thank you for those of you who have asked. And the answer is yes, I am still working on my third book. And this next book will be about the essential habits for principals who want to thrive and not burn out in life and leadership. There are 10 key qualities that I share in this book, and I'll keep you posted as we draw closer to a launch date in 2020. So heads up. And finally, I just want to share with you, as a parting token of gratitude, a free professional development resource. A few weeks ago, a reader had emailed me to ask if I had any PD content on developing mission, vision, and goals for students. So I put together a free summary of professional development sessions on mission, vision, and goal setting that I want to also share with you as a complimentary New Year's gift for Principal Matters listeners. It includes tips on leading conversations with your school teams for 2020 and beyond. It's a skeleton outline, only 8 pages, but I hope it's a good place to start if you want to add your own ideas and personalize it for your team's professional learning as they hone what their mission, their vision is, their mission statements, and what their goals are for this coming year, including SMART goals. So let's wrap this up. As I was writing this post this week, I was setting up late, waiting for my daughter, Katie, to come home from a trip that she had taken over her high school with her high school band over Christmas break. While we were in Tennessee, she was with the Owasso High School Band performing at the Rose Bowl Parade in Pasadena, California on New Year's Day. And it was hard not to be with her on this trip as we were visiting family back home and as we were driving back to Oklahoma while she was performing. But thankfully, because of technology, my wife was watching the parade on Instagram Live. So when the band began its performance, we pulled the car over to the side of the road to watch together. And sitting on a rural spot in western Kentucky, we could see the 300 band members marching and playing in beautiful Pasadena with mountains and palm trees in the distance. Katie was thousands of miles from home, but there we were, huddled up in our van, cheering her on and sending her our love as best as we could. Because that's what families do. When we can't be together, we still cheer each other on from a distance. So this week, I just want to remind you, wherever you are, today or in the months ahead, I am sending you my cheers. Sending cheers your way for this new school year. Thank you for being a school leader. Thank you for the courage that it takes every week to lead a school community. Thank you for the action and the teamwork and the collaboration that you're committed to. Thank you for being part of this Principal Matters community. And as you begin your new year, let me encourage you to dream big, to set crazy, audacious goals, to determine to have fun in the process. Because when you stay inspired, even in the small things of life, you inspire others to make the most of their days too. So now it's your turn. I'd love to hear from you on your happenings from this past year and the goals and dreams that you have for 2020. Feel free to send me an email at williamdparker.com or drop me a line via Twitter at williamdp or Instagram at william_d_Parker. However you want to reach out, I'd love to hear from you. I'm looking forward to continuing to learn and to grow together in 2020. And thanks again for doing what matters. And I'll talk to you soon. If you'd like other free resources like this one, you can check out all my posts at williamdparker.com.